Bob. So,
Hi, Bob.
hello, Bob.
It's Blathering with Bob. How about that?
Blathering with Bob, or as we used to call you back in the day, Bob Noxious.
All right, Bob.
Bloviating with Bob. Thank you.
Bloviating. All right, question number one. Who would you rather be, or maybe the negative, who wouldn't you rather be today? John Beilein, Mark D'Antonio, or Rob Manfred?
Ooh. I wouldn't want to be Manfred. Boy, oh boy. He has somehow managed to pass Roger Goodell and Gary Bettman as the worst commissioner in their history.
Seriously.
No, modern day sports at least. Beilein I'm sure is bummed and stuff, but he'll get a decent parting gift, and probably knew this was coming for a little while. I wouldn't want to be D'Antonio because you thought, you didn't think it was over, but you at least thought you could begin to enjoy retirement perhaps, and this thing is, I don't know if it's just getting started, but it ain't ending anytime soon unless somehow it either gets settled, the lawsuit, or it gets yanked, one or the other, which, Blackwell's attorneys haven't exactly been redeeming themselves either. So it's still, to me, that's the bigger mess of the three. Although down in every other ballpark, every other city in baseball, they would say Manfred, who is just making it worse. Oy.
How does it end? How does the baseball scandal end?
I don't know how he makes it up to, because he really cannot go back and punish individually the players that participated partly because they were granted immunity to give the details and lay out exactly what happened. You can strip the title. Take the heavy piece of metal away and hit him over the head with it. You can do that, but does that really punish individual players? Well,
no, but it does shut up, I think, the Justin Turners and the Mike Trouts and the Aaron Judges, right? Doesn't it blunt their attacks a little bit?
Yes, it does. And you say, well, does that really damage the players that cheated? Well, technically, they would have to remove World Series champion from their resume, from their ledger in history. So, and I don't know why Manfred thinks that's some line not to cross.
I agree.
Baseball didn't even have a World Series champion back in, 04 or whatever, with the strike. So, and beyond that, he's got to do something. And I don't think it's going to be nonstop beanball wars,
right.
with everybody throwing at my idea, and I don't know if you guys listen, but I usually try to solve things. And Jamie, we used to do that too.
Yeah.
We solve things. My solution is each 3-game series, when you play the Astros, you get 5 free beanballs. So you just got to decide how to use them. Do you use them early in the series? Do you use them later? And the only stipulation is you can't throw at the head. 3 body parts are fair game, and that would be you can throw at the ass, the stomach, and the thigh.
See, I think you're going the wrong way with that because you're giving the Astros 5 base runners over a 3-game series. I think you should actually get 5 pitches where the catcher says to you, fastball outside.
Oh.
So you actually know the pitch that's coming as they knew the pitches that were coming.
Okay, so now you're going to punish the pitchers on the Astros.
Yes.
Who
yes.
theoretically, they benefited, but theoretically didn't cheat.
Correct.
Right. Okay. I like my idea better. Plunk 5 of them, but silly me. Sorry for thinking outside the box.
As long as we're on the subject of baseball, let me put to you the question we discussed briefly yesterday.
Oh, no.
Your boy Miggy has 23 homers to get to 500. He's in shape. He is apparently hitting, like yesterday, I guess he put on a prodigious display of power. We know that you are a certified, renowned doctor in superstar suck-up.
Mm-hmm.
Does Miggy get to 500 this year?
He'll have 23 home runs by the end of May.
Bang! Oh, he's not.
Bang!
He's not playing at Comerica Park?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No. Boy, that is tight because, he does look to be in better shape, but sometimes when he gets that way where he has lost weight, you think he's lost power, too, and it has been proven to be the case either way, heavy or light in the past. I'm going to say yes, 23 home runs, because I do think, the power will never be there to what it was before. And, but if he's going to swing freely more so, and again, I know we've heard this before, he's fixed his swing, he got off of the donut diet or whatever, all of that. But I don't know. I really do think he realizes that his legacy is running out or is being tarnished as it goes down the line. And it does. I mean, he worked out with Rob Gronkowski in the offseason. Doesn't that mean something?
It means he's going to drink a lot of beer.
Yeah, that's true.
Now,
I thought that we had a double-edged sword to it there.
Yeah. Now, Woj, 2 weeks ago, Andre Drummond left us, at least to go to Cleveland. Reggie Jackson yesterday. Is it too simplistic to say, you know what, Stefanski and Malik Rose and maybe even Arn Tellem, they, finally convinced Tom Gores in January this is the way to do it, but unfortunately, it was 2 years too late.
Well, it was too late to get anything for them, exactly. And I contend this, and I know obviously, and I, like others, during the offseason campaign, try to get rid of him now. It's not going to work. There was no way, seemingly, they were going to get to do this until they showed Tom Gores with his own eyes that it wasn't working. Like, he either was convinced because of Drummond's numbers or when they played well that one stretch when Reggie Jackson was healthy or when Blake Griffin was healthy. But I hate to say it, but in Tom Gores' eyes, this is the only way it was going to happen. He wasn't going to believe it wasn't going to happen until they were 19-38, and it was obvious it wasn't going to happen. So, yeah, in retrospect, of course, that's why you need maybe a more in-tune owner at times, or maybe Stefanski and Arn Tellem and the whole gang should have convinced him more. But, okay, it's underway now. Get ready for let's see, a 47 and 114 win season next. That's the Tigers. Sorry.
Yeah.
I lose track of my rebuilding projects.
We unearthed this nugget earlier in the show. Do you know who the longest tenured Detroit Piston is right now?
Oh my God.
The longest grizzled vet, the guy who has made his mark in this town for a longer period of time than any other guy on the roster.
Mike Abdenauer.
Yeah, well, Abdenauer's one. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Wait, is it?
George Blaha is 2.
Okay.
And Luke Kennard.
No, I was going to say Luke Kennard, is it?
It is Luke Kennard,
yes.
Why did you give it away? I was about to say that.
See, my guess was wrong.
I was trying to help you out.
Because Luke Kennard was drafted a few months before the Pistons signed Langston Galloway, which would have been my guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you know what that means now if they're doing the big promo on ESPN? It's LeBron and the Lakers, Kennard and the Pistons, tonight at 8:30.
Exactly.
Yes.
And by the way, I'm oversimplifying this, so don't yell at me, okay? I like to oversimplify him. But technically, in some ways, did Andre Drummond get to put another coach's scalp on his wall?
I read this tweet from the Cleveland sports radio station who suggested that Drummond said, if Beeline ain't out of here, I ain't coming back.
Which to me, if I'm the Cavaliers, I immediately announced that Beeline's coming back.
No, he was doomed, obviously, from the start. But there was, like, a week ago, I don't know if you remember, or maybe more than that, one of Drummond's first games, he took, like, 2 3-pointers and made them. And after the game, told people, yeah, it's great to be here because now I'm green-lighted to shoot threes. And then they asked Beeline about that, and he was like, no, we're going to have to discuss that. So it was already Drummond flexing on him to shoot threes of all things.
God, I swear, more than anything else, well, my number one wish for this NBA offseason is for the Pistons to get a really high pick in the lottery. That's number one. Number 2 is I really, really want Andre to opt out. And then the best offer is like, Atlanta offering a 1-year, $1.5 million contract.
Right.
I just want that so badly.
It is ridiculous. And he is saying, of course, he'll opt in, which, the Pistons would have been stuck for $28 million. But, I mean, he pretty much, not single-handedly, but he pretty much destroyed Stan Van Gundy's tenure here, although Stan Van Gundy did a good job of doing it himself.
Yes, right. He signed him to the extension.
Yeah, exactly. Well, some say it.
Gores,
perhaps,
yes.
But okay.
True. Right.
And now, Beal, I'm not saying it's total because Mike Love. I always say Mike Love. Kevin Love and the gang certainly didn't make it easy for him. And you know what? Beeline should just be happy he got out with his sanity intact, as far as we know. And some amount of money. I don't think he'll get the whole 5 years, but doomed from the start. I mean, I hate to say it, but it was.
Finally, Woj, we were talking off air. Mel Kiper suggesting the Lions would take Tua third in his mock draft has made the Lions a national story. We were watching them just debate whether they should keep Stafford. He had a sneaky great year. What kind of noises are you making, by the way?
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't hear a word you said. What were you saying? I heard Tua, and then everything was a blur.
Well, the fact that the Lions are now a national story, thanks to Mel Kiper. Thank you.
No, of course, and I was watching that yesterday, too, on ESPN all afternoon. Everybody tried to debate it. There was one debate. Who's more likely to be with the same team next year, Matthew Stafford or Tom Brady? And to which I just switched teams. No, I'm kidding about that. But, of course, I don't know how it's going to end, but anybody who didn't think that the Tua thing was going to become a thing as it got closer to the combine and everything else was kidding themselves. And I really think it's going to be big enough. He's going to grade out and medical out well enough that the Lions are going to have to make a decision. And maybe the Staffords are aware of this possible decision, and that explains some of the weird stories that came out last week.
I can't believe we're referring to the Staffords as plural. I mean, come on.
The Staffords.
Yes, the Staffords. It's never the Bradys or the Breezes or the Rodgerses, but it's the Staffords. Yes.
Well, in the absence, in great guy and everything, but in the absence of Matthew Stafford ever really saying anything deep about his future or anything, we are sort of forced to rely upon Kelly Stafford.
I know.
Aren't we?
Absolutely. Yes. And her friend Hank.
Well, when people say, man, what do you think of the morning show? I say, the Samuelsons and Stones are great people.
Yes.
That's what I say.
All right, Woj, we'll talk to you next Wednesday, all right?
Woohoo!
There he is, Wednesdays with Woj.